Welcome back, guys, to Nick at Night. Good to have you with us this evening. So good to see you. We have another good one for you tonight. We look at the very disturbing trend among Hollywood hypocrites, keeping tabs on their own actors and actresses. I'm looking at you, Harvey, you demon. And we continue to explore the unholy connection between the news media and Hollywood. Isn't it weird that every time a fiction show needs a newscast, they turn to either CNN or MSNBC? Coincidence? I think not. Again, I'm just a humble viewer. What do I know? And on our Knicks Pick segment tonight, we have something a little retro for you. Like they say in Mad Men, nostalgia, it's delicate, but potent. Let's roll.
That you learn the hard way, in our industry.
The guy upstairs who was chatting and was friendly and was engaging and made me feel great to, can you just stand there and be quiet?
So we all know Harvey Weinstein is a pig. Even the A-listers who've had their careers built by him are admitting how much of a scumbag he really was. But did you know that Weinstein got in touch with an organization made up of former intelligence agents called Black Cube? Did you know what he did with those agents? He sicked them on the actors and actresses who were going to expose him in an attempt to intimidate them into silence. Mr. Free Speech, Mr. Hollywood, California, calling in the big guns from overseas. Israeli intelligence. That's crazy. Do you imagine walking down the street and realize that you have a tail of Mossad agents on you because you took on Weinstein? This is just such a gross violation of everything Hollywood has ever been telling us since the beginning. They've been preaching for years, and now they're going against everything they've ever stood for. How is this okay? This is not okay. These are elite intelligence gathering units. Not only does it violate the actor's privacy and it's super creepy, but it continues to show that in Hollywood, there's one rule for the rulers and another rule for the rest of us. And we shouldn't have to live like that, under their thumb. Now, two private investigators from this company, Black Cube, used false identities when meeting with the actress Rose McGowan. She's been in the news, called out Harvey a lot. One of the investigators actually had the gall to pretend to be a woman's rights advocate and suckered McGowan into having meetings recorded. She then, of course, would go back and feed that information to Cube, which would go and give the information to Weinstein. The same agent now, keep in mind, using another identity, met with journalists who were interviewing these women that had been assaulted, and she would then in turn feed the information to Weinstein, telling him what these women were saying to journalists. I mean, it's disgusting. I still can't believe it. He pulled this crap for over a year, trying as hard as he could to bury the truth at all costs. But Harvey should have taken a lesson from his Miramax films. Truth always comes out. He even intimidated employees into joining the scheme and collecting information on his enemies to use against them at a later date. Anything to suppress the truth. Here's what we finally need to understand about Hollywood. They have no shame, they have no honor, and they have no God and religion. And that is a very dangerous combination, considering how much power they still wield in society. Another weird story tied into all this, former attorney for Al Gore, David Boies, who, by the way, is portrayed like a patron saint in every movie they ever cite him in, was also caught up in this Weinstein House of Cards act. He acted as a middleman between Weinstein and the company, Black Cube, and was working for the New York Times as their lawyer while he was helping Weinstein spy on the reporters. Now, I'm not shocked. A lot of people were, I'm not. But as more of these stories begin to come out, expect the content to get worse and deeper. Child actor, Corey Feldman, he's been screaming from the rooftops for literally decades about pedophilia in Hollywood and in the movie industry. And I bet you it goes even deeper than that. Bestiality? Cults? Trafficking? Hollywood's a place devoid of logic and reality, so in my opinion, anything is possible. After all, they do lie for a living. And speaking of lying for a living, I can't seem to escape Kevin Spacey's name or his face. It's plastered all over my Roku menu when I try to turn on my TV. Each time with a new headline about how he tried to rape an underage boy. One of the more recent accusations comes from a former news anchor, surprise, in Boston, who says Spacey went after her 18-year-old son and tried to put his hands down his pants. Poor kid. That's gotta be just sick and traumatizing. How do you think you can get away with that? It's not a movie set, bro. Control yourself. Keep it in your pants. The reason television has these dirty secrets is because it's based on fakery. It's all about deception. There's a disturbing trend I'm seeing where the news media, who you go to for your information, they're beginning to seem a lot like Hollywood, aren't they? You ever notice how when a liberal show or TV network or a movie needs to put a news story in the plot, they always pick CNN and MSNBC. So answer me this. How do we know the difference between when they're reading a script and when they're reading the news? They might as well be Hollywood actors. They're wearing makeup, they're political as it can get, they have an agenda, an obvious agenda, they preach constantly, and they'll do anything for a quick buck. It sounds like Tinseltown to me, but again, just a humble viewer, just a paying customer, what do I know? I think it's time for Weinstein, Spacey, Affleck, Damon, and the whole rest of that freaking 90s Miramax crew to take a hike. We'd all be better off without them. I think it's time to give some new actors a chance, need some fresh blood in there, maybe some actors that aren't as deviant and disgusting behind the scenes. Allegedly, of course. All right, that's enough heavy stuff for one episode, so let's end the show on a little bit of a lighter note with Nick's picks. As they say in Mad Men, there is a beauty in nostalgia because it is delicate but potent. And God knows, in light of the recent scandals, we need some of that 90s television nostalgia to help soothe these wounds. So our pick for tonight is going to be the epic 90s television show, Twin Peaks.
Can I get you anything to go with this, Sheriff?
Agent Cooper here might want to try a slice of that pie. A cherry pie?
Best in the Tri-Counties.
There's a beauty in Twin Peaks. It's just an amazing show. The setting, the characters, the actors, I think the word original. Just when you think the show can't get any crazier or off the wall or violent, it comes back with black comedy over the top that has you just rolling on the floor. It's got some mysticism in it. It's got a lot of hot women. For the ladies, the FBI agent, the main character's good looking. It's not my thing, but hey, whatever. He's not hard to look at, like some actors. And just the flow of it is amazing. David Lynch, great writer, director. They called it X-Files before X-Files. And that's something to be ahead of. That's a hell of a curve to get out in front of. So this is worth checking out. It only ran 2 seasons, and I don't know if it's available on Netflix anymore. I don't think it is. But even if you just have to pirate the pilot to get into it and check it out, it's worth it because Showtime, after 25 years of being off the air, brought it back for a conclusive 3rd season. We're seeing a lot of that lately. We're seeing a few shows that have been on hiatus come back after just year-long breaks, just years and years, and this is one I think that could be successful. I personally haven't seen season 3 of Twin Peaks, but I have seen 1 and 2. Awesome. Great show. So many different varying emotions that you go through as a viewer with these characters, and you get left on a cliffhanger. So it's a cool transition to come back 25 years later and see how they're going to finish it all out. Well, hope you enjoyed our episode tonight of Nick's Picks, and definitely check out Twin Peaks to help offset the disgusting nature of Hollywood today. Go back to a simpler time when they were doing it the right way. I'm your host, Nick Jeeves. Thank you for joining us. Hope you'll join us again next week for more Hollywood takedowns of these hypocrites, and a few zingers in there with some diamonds in the rough sprinkled in for your enjoyment. Thanks so much. Have a good week.